Corey Brewer from Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty joins me on the program to talk about a kind of a kit that they have put together to help parents, to help school boards, to help teachers, to help administrators. But before we get to that, Corey, one, welcome to the program. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. It's very good to be with you.
So it's based on the declaration that parents have rights, right? And that is what the United States Supreme Court said in a case called Mahmoud versus, I believe, Taylor. So walk people through real quick, what that case was about, how this case is beyond just a limited amount of parents with a very specific narrow objection.
Yeah, the case arose out of a school district in Maryland, actually. It was a very diverse, religiously diverse part of the country, and the children in that school were being taught in classroom instruction using LGBTQ inclusive storybooks, is what the court referred to these as. And these were very, very young children.
Did I lose Corey? Uh-oh, hang on a sec. Hang on. Let's see if we can get Corey back. Yeah, I think we lost Corey. Let's see if we can get her back. So we're just going to see what we can do here. Hang on a second. And then I don't have her cell, so we're going to have to hope she calls back. All right, so I will quickly go over that while hopefully Corey reconnects with us, or I will share with you some of the tools that are now available to parents. So this case said you can't tell parents they can't opt out of this kind of instruction. And it's important that in this particular case, the instruction was infused throughout the curriculum. So it wasn't a standalone health class or sex ed class. And originally the school district said it was okay for parents to opt out, but then all the parents were opting out. So then they decided, no, it's not okay for parents to opt out. And mind you, this is alphabet mafia material in everything. It's throughout the day. And so, and I think we do have Corey back. You dropped out there, Corey. And so basically this case said, you've got to give you can't just say, well, it's not a standalone sex ed class, and so we don't have to give you an opt-out. The court said, yes, you do. You have to tell parents. You have to respect parents' rights. So, apologies, Corey. It's good to have you back. But I kind of caught people up on this case a little bit while we were trying to reconnect with you.
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate it. We have also a brand new FAQ explainer for anyone who wants to learn more about the details of the case. But I heard you saying, and I think it's really key, that initially the school board allowed parents to opt out for religious reasons, and then they removed that option and said, we're not even going to tell you when these things are being taught, and you can't opt out. So you had this cohort of parents, Muslim, Jewish, Catholic, Christian. They all kind of came together and said, no, we're not okay with this. We have rights as parents, even in the public school. And ultimately, the United States Supreme Court agreed.
Yeah, so we're laboring under some difficulties here in Wisconsin. I'll get a little bit more into that coming up in the 2:00 hour. But so you have rights as parents. If you cannot be told, too bad. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not a sex ed class. It's in English. They cannot just ignore that. They have to let you know. So here's the problem. Most parents don't know this. Most school boards don't know this. Most teachers don't know this. Most administrators don't know this. And the ones who do aren't telling these people. So what can you do?
Right. This is a really big deal, the Supreme Court reaffirming this. And the resources we put out today are for parents. It's the model policy for school boards. It's the template letter for teachers to inform parents. It's intended to help everybody comply with this new precedent. But what I would really, really love to highlight for any parents, grandparents who might be listening is one of the things we created is an opt-out form. So it includes, hey, this is based on this new United States Supreme Court decision that states that parents have rights to opt their kids out of instruction if it does not align with their religious beliefs. So we've created an opt-out form where parents can just go in, enter their name, the name of their child, what grade they're in, and check a box for, is it gender ideology topics at a young age that are troublesome or conflict with your religious beliefs? Is it instruction related to different races having inherent privilege or being treated differently because of the color of their skin? There's a few different categories that, based on your family's beliefs, your religious beliefs, and under this new Supreme Court precedent, you can go in, fill it out, very easy, and it'll generate a form for you to either print or download to send directly to your child's school, and proactively ask that your child not be part of this type of instruction in any class.
Exactly. So this is the most important thing. So I hope the school boards adopt this. I hope the teachers adopt this. 90% of the teachers are so radical. They're going to ignore this. Tons and tons of school administrators are the same way. So they're going to ignore this. But the parents, this is where you guys have the ultimate power, because it's not just general opt-out. It's opt-out of human growth and development, which the quote curriculum, which isn't really a curriculum. It's infusing sexual themes throughout all different types of education. So English education, math education, human growth and development now in Wisconsin schools, which can be extremely radical, even designed by Planned Parenthood. It's in everything, Corey. So there's a specific thing that says, hey, in case you guys think you're going to get away with infusing it into everything, here's the human growth and development opt-out form. Here's the Trevor Space opt-out letter as well. Don't let my kid use this disgusting, quote, resource that tells kids to go and look at porn, right? So there's that as well. Everything we've talked about, you guys have hit by empowering parents with the tools to protect their kids.
Yeah, another example of what's on that form is opting out of what we call gender secrecy policies. Of course, that's not what the Mahmoud case was about, but we've litigated that issue a lot here at Will. And I think if the Mahmoud court said, hey, we think it's a violation of parents' First Amendment free exercise rights when you require their kids to undergo classroom instruction that conflicts with their religious beliefs. If that's a violation of parents' constitutional rights, then certainly any school policy, written or unwritten, that can allow a child to undergo a social transition, change their name and pronouns, either secret from their parents or against the wishes of their parents, especially for religious families, I think certainly that would also probably violate their constitutional rights. So our form has that option as well. And if
that's violated, contact you, because you guys will take the case. I mean, that's
what I was going to say. Yes, thank you, because we don't know how these districts are going to respond to these opt-out requests. We have this very, very strong landmark parental rights case now. And if parents are submitting these opt-out requests on religious grounds and find that they're not being honored, then yes, talk to an attorney, talk to Will. We certainly want to know about it.
Well, and I would say this too as the parents. So you can go to will-law.org/parents, or you can just go to will-law.org because it's right there on the front page. I mean, we can give them a couple of other websites as well, but that's the easiest one, will-law.org. And then go to the forms. So I would, in addition to those forms, demand a response. Say, I want a response that you received my demand for my child. I want a response to, I want you to accede to this. I want you to say, yes, we will respect your rights as a parent. Because Mahmoud was a parents' rights case. It wasn't just, purely religious liberty. It was also parents' rights. There was lots of discussions. Yes, parents have rights. Mm-hmm. And so if I'm a parent and I'm using these tools, I'm making sure I get confirmation. So I think it would make it easier for you, Corey, if you're going to take this case later. Confirmation, they received your request. They also agreed to do that so that, you can understand that your kid is going to be protected.
Yeah, that's right. I think creating that written record is a great idea. And I will say, too, that one of the arguments that the school district made in that Mahmoud case was that, hey, too many parents are opting out. This is unworkable. Too many parents are opting out. We can't do this. And the Supreme Court did not buy that argument. They said the fact that many parents want to opt out, first of all, in my opinion, do you hear yourself, school district? But also, you can't, that's not grounds for then violating their rights as parents under the Constitution. And from the district's perspective, too, first of all, as a parent, as an attorney, this content, this controversial, sensitive, objectionable content, it doesn't need to be infused into so many parts of the school day. But if it is, all teachers need to do is have a little bit of transparency, have that relationship with parents, tell them ahead of time, and let them know that they do have the ability to opt out.
They don't want to. That's the school district. They didn't want to have to change the curriculum. They wanted to be able to use the entirety of the curricular materials to promote a political ideology. That's what they wanted to do. That's what Wisconsin schools want to do. Let's be honest here. Now, I'm not saying every single school board is going to be like this, but darn near every single school district is like this, that they want to be able to say, well, and by the way, saying, too many people don't want us to violate their rights. Therefore, nobody's going to be allowed to have any rights any longer is about as idiotic as I can think of. But that's what these schools have been getting away with. And we've been trying to warn people about this, hoping to get people to run for school boards, hoping to get parents engaged. But we are, the Wisconsin education is where it is because, for too long, too few people bothered to want to participate in this. And so this is kind of your last chance to defend yourself and your kids and your grandkids. And hopefully enough people will opt out that creates the pressure to change the material.
Right. That's what we would really like to see happen. And by the way, Vicki, you're right, because even in the Mahmoud case, there was in the record, there was this LGBTQ instruction for elementary school kids, and the teachers actually had to undergo training to learn how to silence dissent. So if a child said, "Hey, I don't really understand how a boy can become a girl. I don't think that's right," the teachers were trained to say, "Oh, you know what? That's hurtful. That's a really hurtful comment," and silence that dissent. And if that's happening in one school district, we know that it's more widespread. And I think a lot of parents are probably not your listeners, but just in general, they're probably surprised to hear that that's going on in our schools. So they need to be vigilant. They need to be proactive, get this opt-out request on file. And we hope to see more involvement in their kids' education. And like you said, hopefully this starts to turn things for the better now that the U.S. Supreme Court has reaffirmed this robust parental right. But we will see. And if Will needs to get involved legally, we're certainly willing to do that. We should also point out,
Will doesn't charge when they take up constitutional rights cases. So it'd be nice if you are of a means to make donations. They are a nonprofit and it's a tax-deductible donation. Corey Brewer, thank you for joining me on the program.
Thank you very much.